or that it would get picked apart. And I realized the only wrong thing to say is to say nothing. Because George Floyd's life mattered, and Breonna Taylor's life mattered, and Philando Castile's life mattered.
But it didn't matter to you before. All of a sudden now, you're taking up positions which you never did before. This is what really confuses you people. It would have been a different matter if you had been actually politically active in some sort of movement for human rights about African people. But when you were in Africa, you only talked about yourself. And all of a sudden, you have a social consciousness. And that confuses people.
Rice's life mattered. And so did so many other people whose names we know and whose names we do not know. I really struggled with what to say, and I didn't sit down and write anything, and I didn't ask anyone for help with how I should word this. I was just in tears thinking about it, and I was explaining to my husband why I thought that it was so heartbreaking. So I just spoke from the heart. Always remember to put others' needs above your own fear.
So she says, always remember to put wait, let's listen to this again, because this is important. So let's listen.
And if you look back,
Wait.
It was so heartbreaking. So I just spoke from the heart. Always remember to put others' needs above your own fears.
Always remember to put others' needs above your fears. So you say this, but let's see others' needs. You have no contact with the father who raised you, paid for your education, and is now old and maybe financially not doing so well. So what about your father's needs? What about the needs of your husband? When was the last time you put his needs? I mean, he's been stripped away from every position. He had like really top-notch positions, which he no longer has, just because you needed to go to Hollywood to make a career for yourself. So where are you putting others' needs above yours?
It's probably why it doesn't look polished, and that's why it doesn't feel perfect, but that's also why it's authentic. And I think that is the takeaway that I have found, is if you don't listen to all the noise out there and you just focus on living a purpose-driven life, and you focus on
a purpose-driven life. Okay, so you didn't just emerge out of an egg. You are like, people, there's controversy about how old you are, but you must be like, what is it? At least 35? So until the age of 35, you made Hallmark films. You were like a showgirl, like taking suitcases with money on a show. You married a producer and then left him. And you went from one guy who could help you to another. You disconnected from the father who never, as far as we know, abused you in any way, but paid for you to go to a private school. I didn't go to a private school. And my father didn't pay for my education. He died before I went to university. So I'm wondering, you say you're authentic. You say that you present yourself as a very caring person, and you present yourself as someone who cares about the whole world, and yet you don't care about your own father. And that's really weird. And about Harry, because basically Harry is taken now. He's in the back seat and you're in the front. So you say a purpose-driven life. You bought yourself a very big villa worth $14 million, while we're in the biggest economic health crisis, and you were seeing handing out school supplies. Come on. How stupid do you think people are? Do you think people don't know math? $14 million for a house, a huge house for 3 people. And then you're handing out school supplies for 5 minutes, or planting flowers for like 5 minutes and calling it caring about other people. You go to Africa and you talk about yourself and the media. You invest all your time fighting legal battles against the media. Is that a purposeful life?
what your own moral compass is. And the moment that you are able to be liberated from all of these other opinions of what you know to be true, then I think it's very easy to just live with truth and live with authenticity. And that's how I choose to move through the world.
So you have a moral compass. But look how every time she speaks, she doesn't look into the camera. She looks down or closes her eyes. And that tells you everything. Right, Sam? Sam here is watching with me.
I think it's all bullshit. I mean, she's not even looking in the camera.
I really wonder what this woman thinks. She has never done anything for anyone without a camera being there. She's banned her father. I mean, and then she talks about a moral campus. She talks about a purposeful life. Spending all your time and money suing media outlets, is that like a moral campus? What moral campus do you have? You're over 30. You should really know what is important for you. You all of a sudden are black. You were like not black most of your life, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you married Prince Harry, all of a sudden you're African. I'm sorry. So
It's about being authentic.
And when she says it's about being authentic, she's not even looking at the camera. Look, I've spoken against the YouTube channels that are coming up like mushrooms after the rain, but I still wonder why. Why is this woman underestimating the intelligence of people? People are just amazed, astonished, shocked by the gap between what she says and how she lives, how she chooses to live her life. When she says she puts others' needs above hers, her husband had prominent positions in the British Army, and he has now nothing. He has absolutely nothing. Her son Archie has no cousins to play with, no family connections to anyone. How is that putting others' needs first? While her husband and her son have been moved around constantly, and far away from any relatives. I mean, is that an ideal way to raise a child when he has only one grandparent and all of his aunts and uncles and cousins are so far away? Moving a toddler to a country that has the most coronavirus in the world, that is incredible. While I'm at it, I'd like to speak about what happened with Donald Trump, if you don't know. So Donald Trump has been discovered to have, let's talk about this too while we're at
Stunning
it.
news. The President of the United States now confirming to the world that he and the First Lady of the United States have both tested positive for the coronavirus.
So what I say is karma works. If you lie, if you say one thing and do another, and look at Donald Trump, he basically spent the debate with Biden personally attacking Biden at a time where there's a huge health crisis and financial crisis in the US. He chooses to go after Joe Biden's son Hunter, who was an addict. So many Americans, millions of Americans are addicts. If you go Netflix, all the shows have addictions, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or both. And then he goes after an addict. I'm not justifying Joe Biden's son for what he did, but he goes after a personal attack instead of addressing the issues. And he chooses to ignore the problem of coronavirus despite the deaths. Hundreds of thousands of Americans die, and and so many people are sick with coronavirus, which is highly contagious. Also here in Israel, we're breaking a world record with how contagious it is, not in death, thank God, yet, but so many cases we have every day, thousands of cases, and we're a small country, and in America it's even worse. America is like leading the chart, and yet he goes from one appearance to another without a mask, downplaying it. So both cases of Meghan Markle and Trump are actually very similar. People that they say they care about the country, they say they care about others, but practically they don't. Because if Donald Trump really cared about America, he would wear a mask. the Vice President Mike Pence also doesn't have a mask on. And I have to say that it's quite ridiculous how he chooses to do personal attacks instead of thinking about what is now a very important topic: how to combat the coronavirus, how to combat the financial crisis, how to combat the fact that he didn't pay taxes for years. And yeah, I'm just thinking about all that. And I'm thinking about the fact that there's not going to be channels bashing Donald Trump as there are bashing Meghan Markle. And Meghan Markle is not running for office. She doesn't have, I don't think she has a chance in hell of reaching any office, public office. I don't think she has any fans that can be counted on. So I really wonder, why is it? Maybe I should show Sam. I have to show somebody except the CNN guy. So Sam and I think it's ridiculous that every time there's like a popular topic, there's YouTube channels. I'm not speaking against Meghan on any personal level, and I think some channels are really disgusting. They analyze Meghan Markle or Donald Trump, and they say, oh, he's childish, he's a crazy idiot, Meghan Markle is a liar, she's a narcissistic psychopath. Pretty much the same things that have been said about Donald Trump have been said about Meghan Markle. And what's the point of spending all that time? And why are there so many views? I mean, this is like coronavirus. So many people watch channels that are bashing people. We shouldn't bash people. We should just expose them and see, well, if you're such a good person and you put others' needs before yours, how come you're not wearing masks? How come you really don't do anything for anyone but yourself? How come everything you do is to maximize your income? And if you care about others, how come you don't do things for others? That's what I want to know. Right, Sam? Sam is really a caring cat, I have to say. I think he's much more empathy than a lot of people. And maybe I should mention while I'm at it, there's so many people that when you mention cats, they say, ew, I hate cats. Dogs are so much nicer. I want to tell you that this cat is so sweet. And he's so nice. Yes, he sometimes bites me. It's more like Chinese needles. But cats are great. And I think we should give more credit to cats. I think cats have not been given credit for being very loyal companions. They're very soft, first of all. They're very sweet. And if you treat them nicely, they're going to treat you really nicely, too. And yes, they don't come every time you call them. But dogs also don't do that. I don't think I've had a dog that came to me immediately when I called them. Animals are just the way they are. If they haven't been trained, they're not going to do things. But cats are really nice, and they do attach themselves. They do feel attachments. All animals do. Just I wonder sometimes if certain people feel attachments, because I really, truly don't understand people that marry several times. I don't understand people that use people to get to places I don't get that. I don't understand why a person has to be married 3 times, and it seems to be a pattern with world leaders. What about being loyal to one partner? So our prime minister is on his 3rd marriage. The President Trump had 3 marriages. This is his 3rd marriage. And I really wonder how difficult it is to be loyal to a person. How could you be loyal to a country or to a social cause if you can't be loyal to a partner? How difficult is it? I mean, are people like stale bread that you throw away after a while? That's how it seems to me. I think that we should examine the character of a leader as well. And as for cats, I think we should really appreciate them and their character and stop bad-mouthing them. I think we should stop bad-mouthing anybody. We should just expose people for being hypocrites. That's all. And I think that if there was a reality show on Netflix starring Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, I don't think it's not going to get that many views, because frankly, I don't find anything about them interesting except the fact that they both lie. And she just lies she doesn't look in the camera. She says you put others' needs before yours, and her whole life is to put her needs before others. So I don't get that. I've read I've seen a YouTube channel about her mother saying quite disturbing facts. I don't know if that's true, but I still don't understand why her father raised her, not her mother, and yet she ignores him, bans him, and he's never even seen his grandson. I mean, I think there are serial killers and, I don't know, rapists that have a nicer relationship with their family. That I also don't get. Some people, they can do nothing wrong. Their parents and their friends, they're always going to be loyal to them. And other people, I don't know what they can, they just make one little mistake and then they get banned by their children or by their family. And there's no logic to it. I think human beings are not logical creatures at all. And cats are quite logical because they really know you can't really depend on people 100% to take care of all your needs. Contrary to dogs, which are quite dependent, cats are a little bit more independent. So, and having said that, I wish you peace, light, and love, and happy high holidays to those who are celebrating. And that's all I have to say for today.